Oh, we are live. Well, since we're
So
live, before we
I
get
guess they
any
want to
more
see
going,
us. I guess
I,
they
I
want to
want to
see us,
start
bro.
off today with a little bit of inspiration. All right,
Okay.
got that out of the way. Now, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Why don't you let everybody else know what we're here for? First of all, this is the Jersey Boys MMA Media. We're just doing a little bit of a preview here. My man Andrew Valencia, Jiu Jitsu Drew, is with me. Drew, you were on one of the first, actually, a few of the first podcasts that we did, and then you took a hiatus. So why don't you let everybody know what you're up to now?
Well, glad to be back, first of all. And yeah, man, it's been definitely a long, long time. I mean, the last time I was even on this podcast was, you can almost say like a year ago, pretty much. But
I
since
think
then, man, I just been training. I took a lot of time off to really focus on my jujitsu, try to, get myself on a lot of different stages, and you know, just keeping busy. Got a new job, but other than that, with the UFC ramping back up, and with us back in this in our cage, I guess, pretty much during these last 3 months, um, we're here, and I'm back, and I've been doing nothing but watching fights, still training, but not as much. Um, but yeah,
yeah,
enough
and
talking about myself. Let's talk about this weekend, man. These
no, I
fights are
think
freaking crazy.
I think the last time we had you on was for a Brazilian card because I know you like to call the submission.
Oh, all the time, man.
You're a big fan of the
All
submission. So
all the
I
time.
got we got to let everybody know what you did this weekend. So we have a little group chat. And in
Yep,
the group chat, obviously we're talking fights, before fights, after fights, during fights.
all the time.
And Jiu-Jitsu Drew called, did you call two third round submissions or three third round submissions?
I think I definitely two.
I
One of
know
them
it
was
was
like an
two.
iffy.
So you definitely called the Kay Hansen. She's going to submit her here as the third round starts.
Yep,
And then obviously she came out and submitted her. And I think
yep.
the other one was a Rosa or was it Worthy?
No, it was Erosa. Cause
It
Worthy,
was a Worthy.
honestly, I that was to me still mind boggling. I still say, I mean, no offense to anybody or whatever. I just think Bob got gassed in that situation and got caught in a really lucky guillotine. Because that was like, it was blue belt level, like I said in the chat.
Yeah, and then
But
you
yeah.
you you called the Rosa. Again, Woodson got gas too.
Oh no,
And
Woodson, in my opinion, if he fights anybody else that doesn't have a chin made of granite, he absolutely, wins that fight. But with a guy like a Rosa, who after the first round pretty much already caught the pace, and I mean, I was tweeting. I don't know, for anyone who's following me or will follow me, you can see the tweets. I was saying he was literally one or two slips away from either catching Woodson or getting his takedown, which he was going for, pretty much the entire fight. And his advantage and his game plan, in my opinion, was to sustain all those shots because he was the smaller guy. And as a smaller guy, I can tell you from experience, you're gonna have to take a lot of shots from the bigger guy, especially to get inside. And whenever he was finally able to get some jujitsu going, what's my favorite pick of the night? Always by submission.
and you pick it all the time. That's what
Oh no,
people.
100% all the time,
Yeah, people that
all the
may not know you. If there's somebody looking to submit anyone, it's going to be Drew calling it out. And not for nothing, he just happens to see it a lot of the time, so it's a good thing. So we're here to talk about UFC Fight Island here. Everybody's excited. We're going to kind of preview all four of these cards. Probably talk a little bit more about the July 11th main card. But there's something on this undercard that I think is mispriced. I don't know if you did any tape study on this one, but let me bring it up here. Volkan Ozdemir minus 155. I hit it at minus 160. I actually have three plays on this already. And Drew, I don't know if you went over this fight at all, but this guy Yuri Prochka, um, like he's fighting guys. The guy, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's got a good record. He finishes a lot of fights, but he's fighting like King Mo beat him the first time. And then he beat King Mo the second time. It was a close fight into the third round. King Mo is 38 years old. This is after that fight was after the lightweight championship where Ryan Bader wound up beating King Mo. And then who did Ryan Bader beat? I forget who he beat in the final. But
didn't he beat this guy that legend? What's his name? Damn.
Was that the heavyweight? I think that was the heavyweight championship though. But I know I know Ryan Bader beat King Mo, and then he beat the Russian guy. There you go, Fedorenko.
Yeah.
So I know Bader's good, but I mean King Mo, he was good. He was in the fight with Yuri. I think Volkan is going to be able to beat him. I think he can beat him. I think there's one thing Volkan needs to worry about, and that one thing is just Yuri's going to have 2 inches on him, and he gets those knees up at an opportune, time, he can finish Volkan. But other than that, like he tries to pop the jab, and he does that, but he doesn't. He fights well at range when he can use his size, his length. He doesn't fight well anywhere else. So you can definitely kick his lead foot. You can definitely take him down. King Mo took him down a little bit. Some other guys took him. Brandon Halsey took him down a few times. Again, Volkan, I think, could just keep him off balance, push him up against the cage, beat him with inside dirty boxing. Other than the knees, I'm not really concerned with him being able to finish like a flash finish on Volkan. So I think that line is off, minus 155. I took Volkan by himself. I took Volkan with Volkanovski, and I took Volkan with Amanda Rivas. I took all 3 of those fights. So I'll throw it back to you. Paige and Amanda Rivas. What do you think about this fight? Is it worth spending a minute on talking about?
Paige and Amanda Rivas. I mean, I don't know, dude. Is Paige gonna randomly break her arm like a week before the fight, or is her arm gonna split or something? I mean, dude, people have been talking about Paige fighting for, it feels like 3 years now or 2 years, and the most action I've seen out of her is on a magazine, I guess. It's hard to even talk about or say much about her. I mean, sure, she's a good fighter. I'm sure she's gonna bring something to the fight, but if you want to talk about action and who I feel like has been more active, I'm gonna have to give it to Amanda Rivas here. I don't really know much. I watched like limited tape on this. I'm gonna be completely honest, because I was really focused on the big main card on July 11th and a lot of other fighters. Watched a lot of tape on those fights, but this fight here, I'll probably throw like on a weird parlay and just try to make some quick money or some fun money or just to have some fun on this one. But I don't know. For me, like just off a whim or whatever, I'll just give it to Amanda Rivas, and I don't see it going the whole way, and that's only because Paige hasn't been in the ring in a long time, and I don't care if she's been training or doing whatever she's been doing. That ring time and that mat time is very, very important.
The issue with this fight too is even if you did want to throw something on Rivas, at this point you got to kind of pick a path to victory, KO, TKO, or submission. Like minus 850, I think I was able to throw it in a parlay at minus 550. So I took Ozdemir and Rivas, at minus 550. So I was able to get it to almost even money. I got Ozdemir almost at even money in that parlay, but now it's minus 850 on Fight Odds. And again, all our odds are brought to you by Fight Odds. It's on our website. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have all our social media tags on the bottom. Come to the website. You can get a link to any of the tags.
Yeah, those guys are really good.
Yeah, they're really good with the odds. They have everything up here already. But yeah, I don't even want to spend any more time. If you're gonna pick a path to victory, and we're gonna do a full breakdown show for this whole card, but we're just kind of talking about some main event fights. I know you have a strong take here on Rose and Jessica Andrade, so I'm gonna throw it right to you for that one. The odds right now: Rose is minus 190, Jessica's plus 165. I think Rose was she may have been right minus 210 a few days ago, so that line may have come down a little bit. What do you think here, Drew?
All right, so here's the thing. I was literally watching their last fight like maybe 10 minutes ago, just watching it again because I've watched it a couple times last night and today this morning. And honestly, dude, Rose is perfect, man. I mean, even with the controversy, or not really controversy, but the drama that was going on in her life, everything like that, she still came out perfect in that fight, looking good, striking from the outside, keeping Andrade away, and almost really, really similar to this fight this weekend with Erosa. She had to take a lot of punches on Andrade to get on the inside against Rose, right?
Right.
And you clearly saw that she got beat up, and the main difference, in my opinion, uh, between the opponents that Rose has fought and Jessica is that Jessica is just physically like a specimen, right? So she was able to take all that punishment and able to get to her game because not only did she lift Rose that one time in the second round to slam her on her head and knock her out, she lifted her like 2 or 3 other times. So it was pretty much inevitable. So just watching this tape and watching this fight, if Rose is going to win this fight, she pretty much needs to be perfect. And I mean absolutely perfect in the sense that she can't really get lifted up or taken down because against a fighter like Andrade, all it takes is one good, slam like she got slammed, or just a couple takedowns, and eventually you're just going to get beat up on the ground with a lot of ground and pound because Rose does have good jiu-jitsu, don't get me wrong, and I'm a fan of jiu-jitsu. I'll always back the jiu-jitsu fighter. But in this case, I have to go with the difference. And the difference here is just the physical dominance that pretty much Andrade poses. And in this fight, I don't see it ever going to the cards. Like if we're gonna talk about a path of victory right away, I don't ever see it going to the cards because number one, Andrade is gonna lose on the cards because she's gonna get beat up and poked from the outside like she did in the first fight. And if she has any way of winning, it's by doing what she did in the first fight, which is literally getting real physical, getting up on her face, all up in Rose's face, excuse me, and applying pressure and keeping her up against the cage and using her elbows. Because keep it real, dude, she's a mighty midget like me, dude. She has no arms, no length. All of her punches barely even reach above her eyesight. So with that being said, like the game plan is going to be the same for Andrade, and I don't see it really going any other way unless Rose can see a way to like get this fight to the cards because that's really the only way, in my opinion, that Rose pulls it out. Other than that, the hot take I guess for me is the way my money's going is Andrade gets this win by either TKO or a sub or something. But she's gonna look to be physical and look to do the same exact thing she did in the first fight. She already realized she can take Rose's damage and Rose's power. So I mean, I don't really see it going any other way.
Yeah, I do think I agree with this. Rose needs to be perfect. I think the good thing here for Rose is it's a 3-round fight. So she only has to be perfect for 3 rounds. She doesn't have to be perfect for 5 because the longer she's in there, that
Yep.
could wear on you.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing too, as I go through Rose's fights, yes, she beat Joanna twice, but other than that, the best fighters that she's fought, for the most part, she's lost to. She's lost to Jessica Andrade, right? She's lost to Carolina, and she's lost to Carla. I mean, the next best fighter is Tecia Torres and Michelle Waterson, which again, I know there was talk that they were, I mean, Tecia Torres is a gatekeeper at this point. I would have to say Michelle Waterson's a gatekeeper too. You know what I mean? They never made it all the way up there. So again, if this is going to be a striking fight like it would be against Joanna, it's a close fight. It's a close fight between her and Joanna because they're going to be able to strike. And neither one of them are really going to hurt each other that bad. I know she knocked out Joanna the first time, but I think that was more about Joanna not really respecting her. But if you're going to tell me that this is going to be, Jessica's going to crowd her, then I have to favor Jessica because I think she's so much stronger than Rose is. Jessica, again, has been in there with some killers and has held her own with them, especially in the grappling. How does she lose fights? She loses fights to Weili Zhang. Again, she didn't respect Weili Zhang either. And she lost a fight to Joanna, striking fight. All these other fights where she could kind of outmuscle these girls, she wins the fight. You know what I mean? She lost to someone like a Pennington, but that was at 135. Like at 115, which I believe this is at 115. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's strawweight. Something like that.
I mean, this is, I don't know. I really do like Jessica here. So I'm gonna stay away. It's not a betting fight for me, but I think I'm dog or pass on this fight. On the return here, Drew, I'm gonna throw this next one to you: Peter Yan and Jose Aldo.
Oh
I have
boy.
I have a strong take on the Volkanovski fight, so I'm gonna let you lead off on this fight and the Usman Burns fight. I know there's some Brazilian fighters here, so I kind of planned it that way. I figured I'd throw you all the Brazilian fighters first. But what do you think
Oh,
about Peter Yan and Jose Aldo?
oh well, I'm gonna start off by talking about Peter Yan the same way I tweeted. Peter Yan is the next bantamweight champion. Absolutely. I mean, Jose Aldo, although he's reborn and came back like a phoenix and all this great shit, and he's knocking people out with body shots, it's awesome. Believe me, it's awesome. But Peter Yan is another. Well, I'm sorry, Petr Yan is a different animal, completely different animal. He low key, if he was somebody who like talked more and and was very brash and outspoken, he would almost have the same type of rise that McGregor had. Because the way he's coming up and just beating everyone up, he's not making any excuses. He's literally just saying, "Who you got? Put him in front of me, and I'll demolish him." And that's what he's literally doing to every single person he's fought. Now, he's going up against an Aldo, who, I mean, we've pretty much known he's a legend already in the sport. He can go into the Hall of Fame tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But in this matchup, which is going to be a very violent and bloody fight, the person, the difference here is not even going to be in the striking. It's going to be in the grappling department. In this sense, where the Brazilian is not going to have the advantage. Because Jose Aldo, although I think he's had maybe a handful of submission wins, I honestly don't even remember much. His main defense against that has just been his takedown defense. And if he gets taken down, he gets right back up, and then he gives you a couple good kicks and knocks you out or body punch or whatever the case may be. In this case, he's going up against a guy like Peter Yan, who really he's only ever shown one pretty much, I guess you could say, chink in his armor. And the chink in his armor is not even a real chink. It's just that he got caught one good time. I forget against who it was. I think it was like his third fight. No, it was against Jimmy Rivera. He gets caught in the second round with like a out of the blue left hook or something like that. Gets dropped, gets picked back up, but then literally demolishes Jimmy Rivera in the next minute or so with a crazy combination that puts him out. And he literally does this in almost every single fight that I watched in all of the clips. He's gonna lead off with his nice, jab with an overhand left hook, and if he doesn't do that, then he's just going to take you to the ground and he's just going to beat you to a pulp, like pretty much all of his Russian counterparts, like all the Russian fighters do. And that's something that he's out here to pretty much prove, that he's just one of the great Russian fighters that's on the roster. And it's the reason why, in my opinion, if you're going to call Aldo anything, it'll be, I guess, the last great gatekeeper. Because in reality, it's not like he's the champion of this division anyway. He's down here trying to get another shot anyway, just like everyone else.
And he lost his last fight. He lost to Marlon.
Yeah, no, which was literally, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. It's not like he's on a winning streak anyway, So right now he, in a sense, has something to prove. It just so happens that his opportunity comes with the belt,
So I'll add a little something to you because you kind of assumed that Jose Aldo has had a submission win. Yo, he doesn't have a submission win in his catalog. You look at all his fights, like back to 2010 in the UFC and everything else, he doesn't have a submission win.
Oh, well, then you know what? Crazy. I'm so happy that you corrected me, because honestly, I just assumed it, and this is being real. I just assumed it because he's Brazilian. Like, just because he's Brazilian, and I've actually watched videos of him grapple. So I'm just like, maybe he's pulled out a weird armbar or choke or something like that in one of his fights.
Yeah, but Brazilian, Novinhao, I believe he's a BJJ black belt.
No, yeah, 100%. He is. But that says it all right there. And the difference in this fight, honestly, I think I showed you some notes or something like that, honestly, is that this fight isn't even going into the championship round. Nope. It'll literally probably be over by the second or third round. Only because Peter Yan is gonna, the first round will probably be a filling out process, but not even for long, because they both know how to throw, how to scrap, and how to fight. And if you want to talk about a Muay Thai edge, there really is no Muay Thai edge. I mean, Peter Yan comes from Tiger Muay Thai. I mean, that says it all. That camp says it all, just saying that name. So you know exactly what he's about. And, you know, it'll be great. But at the end of the day, the difference and the path to victory here will be the fact that Peter Yan is going to be able to take down Jose Aldo. He's going to be able to beat on Jose Aldo like nobody else has been able to, because they both can strike. I mean, Jose Aldo maybe throws a quicker kick, but aside from that, Peter Yan hits harder, he's faster, and he's younger, and he's up and coming. And realistically, he's going to be a champion for a long time. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Henry Cejudo comes out of retirement just to take that belt.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to come back. Again, Peter Yan is minus 230. I haven't hit it yet, but I may. It may be a parlay piece for me, but I agree with you. I like it, and he weighs on you. You know what I mean? Like if you look at what he did to Uriah Faber, comes out very, very patient. Yeah, he very patient in the first round. Took a couple shots. There were a couple nice shots that Faber had. Second round was able to hurt him. You know, put him down. That eye looked terrible. If you go back and watch the tape, and then in the third round, like he hit him with an elbow and just kind of stepped in and you know finished him with the kick, I believe. So like basically, he dropped him with a punch, dropped him with an elbow, and dropped him with a kick, all in the same fight. That's what he did to Uriah Faber.
No, yeah. Oh, no, dude, that fight. He has this weird combination, right, where he starts off with his right hand forward. He'll lead with a jab, then come with like a lunging hook, I guess, with a left hook, and then follow it with a kick that you feel that like the trajectory starts like if it's going to the body and it ends up right at your head. It's amazing. And then with that Uriah fight, he was throwing a knee and Uriah got and like pretty much went to duck, and he stayed still within the range for him to extend his foot and end with a kick. It was amazing. I'm telling you, Peter Yan is the real deal. And Jose Aldo, listen, Jose Aldo is one of my first, you know, real favorite fighters, I guess. I mean, he's everyone's favorite fighter, dude. He's a legend. But he's just going up against the wrong train here. And I don't see him doing well here. And
exactly what, you know, segue into the Max Holloway-Volkanovski fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Max was able to beat Aldo at 145 by doing exactly what Jana's going to do to Aldo at 135. He's gonna pick his shots. He's gonna be patient, and when he knows that he starts connecting and gets the timing, Aldo's timing down. Even Marlon. If you go back to the Marlon fight, and don't get me wrong, I said before that Marlon did beat Aldo, and there was supposed to be a title fight. This was supposed to be Jan and Marlon in this title fight that was canceled. So Aldo stepping in basically for Marlon. I'm not really sure the circumstances of that, but let's just go back to that fight. Marlon was able to put it on Aldo in that third round to win the third round. If you look at the last minute of the fight, he probably won the fight in the last minute, if he won it at all, and that's debatable. Max Holloway, how did Max Holloway beat Aldo? The first fight, the first two rounds, you probably gave to Aldo, right? Max started coming out at the end of the second round, and then just the volume that he puts on people, he was able to do that to Aldo at the end of the first fight, and then basically most of the second fight. Aldo had a few, maybe 3 minutes where he was able to exchange with him, but then it was done after that. Bring that full circle back to this fight here with Volkanovski and Holloway. Volkanovski, we haven't even seen everything from Volkanovski. You know what I mean? He didn't even really look to take him down or clinch. He beat Max at Max's best attribute, his striking. And the volume, Max couldn't put the volume out because, again, how do you judge MMA fights, right? It's supposed to be damage. Volkanovski did more damage. So I don't understand how Holloway, is going to win this fight if he's not able to win with volume, because Volkanovski can take his power and is going to give him more damage. If they just straight trade, what's going to wind up happening? Volkanovski wins the fight. And again, that's what's happened to Holloway in two fights in a row, right? That's how he lost to Poirier. And Poirier did it again this past weekend, right? He's able to take the punches, take the pounding. Even against Dan Hooker this past weekend, he took the pounding and was able to give him more power later in the fight. And who was wearing the punches? Holloway was wearing the punches from Poirier late in the fight. Dan Hooker was wearing the punches from Poirier late in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Holloway was doing the same thing. Holloway was wearing the punches later in the fight versus Volkanovski. Volkanovski is too strong for Holloway. Coming down to 145, he's just going to beat him the same way. I don't see Holloway being able to change this fight. What else does he have to throw at him? More volume? That means he's going to get hit more. And he can't afford to get hit more because there's more power. So it's a pretty simple breakdown for me. I just don't see the path to victory unless Holloway can overwhelm him with striking. Maybe he gets started early. I just don't see it happening. Drew, what do you think here?
You see, this fight is almost identical, right? But on the male side to the Rose Namajunas and Andrade fight, right? Where Max Holloway, like Rose, has the length, has the striking, has the movement, has all the tools in the shed to pretty much beat you to a pulp and, keep you at a distance and keep the pace up and keep everything going. But when you're going up against like a guy like Alexander Volkanovski, right? Which the only thing he shares with Andrade would be the size and, the mass. But where he differs is that Volkanovski is bringing a whole tool set of striking and hands and boxing that, that Max really, in my case, isn't used to. Because what you see from every other opponent that Max has ever fought, Max is the one with his foot on the pedal. Max is the one going forward. Max is the one causing them to be on their back foot. What you saw in that last fight was Max on his back foot the entire fight. You know what I'm saying? He was on his back foot the entire fight. Alex kept the pressure. And Alex, although you did say he didn't really get to his game, he tried. That was the one thing that I could give Max credit to while watching that fight. He really defended the takedowns well.
And he has good takedown defense. He does.
Because one thing Alexander does a lot, and I watched it pretty much. I watched a bunch of highlight videos and a bunch of different things, and one common thing you saw was he's gonna throw that mean overhand right, mean hook, mean everything, but he's gonna follow up with the takedown, and then he's gonna beat you up on the ground and pound, and just make you pay for it every single minute of the round. I mean, there's some clips where he's literally ground and pounding for almost 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So that's literally his game plan. And he tried to get that, he tried to get there with Holloway, wasn't successful. And then he beat Holloway at his own game by applying the pressure. That's the thing here. The pace is the name of the game. And with this fight especially, where Alexander already knows he can take the punches, like you said. And if he can just maintain the pace and, not take one of those weird punches, because again, just like Peter Yan, Alexander hasn't been tested in my case, because every fight he's ever won has been by one or two ways: TKO, KO, or UA, unanimous. And that's literally against the greats, against Jose Aldo. He's 18-0 for Christ's sakes. You know what I'm saying? He's on an 18-fight win streak, I think. Yeah, 18 wins. Like, the guy has the real deal. And maybe you could say a lot of those first fights were some fluff fights. He beat up a lot of weird guys. But dude, like Jan, another no-nonsense guy. Put whoever you want in front of him, and he's going to take him off the table. That's literally what he's been doing the whole time in the UFC. And now here against Max, unless he gets caught by a weird elbow or a weird knee or a weird kick or something like that, I'm with you, bud. I don't even see this fight going to the judges, in my opinion. So if you're going to ask me how I'm betting, I don't really go a lot into the numbers or whatever it is. I'm straight, how's this fight going to end or how's it going to go? I'm going to go, Alexander the Great Volkanovski by TKO or KO. This is not going to the judges. And honestly, on a prop bet, I'd say it ends latest in the third. I don't see it going to the championship rounds, because in this fight, the difference from the last one, I feel like Max is going to make a lot more mistakes here. I feel like Max is going to, not more mistakes, let's just say it, better say, like, he's going to take more risk. Because in the first fight, he fought tentatively. And
there's also a cumulative effect here.
Mm-hmm.
That Max Holloway, it's got to be a little bit of concerning. You talk about what happened with Jose Aldo twice. Like, those were battles. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Took a lot of a pounding on that. He tried to cut weight. If you remember, he tried to cut weight to fight Khabib. That was the first over in Brooklyn. That was the first fight that I was going to cover.
Yeah, isn't that when Chael called him out, or somebody called him out on the show, ESPN show? He looked kind of weird.
I think it was Chael, yeah, and he was he was kind of out of it. So he had to be replaced in that fight. And then you go to the Brian Ortega fight, and yeah, Brian Ortega hasn't fought since then. That was 2018. Brian Ortega hasn't fought in the UFC. So yeah,
Dude, he's
Max
still in
gave
the
him a
UFC.
power.
That's crazy.
But by the same token, think about it. Ortega hit him too. Like Max got hit plenty by Ortega. He got hit plenty by Poirier. He got hit plenty the first time versus Volkanovski. There's a cumulative effect on Max. He's taken a lot of punches. So I wouldn't mind him getting his rematch here. Listen, I love Max. I would love to see him win, but I think Volkanovski has his number, and I think Max needs to take some time off. Heal up. Again, he's only 28, 29 years old. Like he's getting into his prime. But he needs to take a step back here because I think he's in for a pretty big beating. On July 11th. So Drew, I'm gonna try to keep my stuff short. We've already gone for a half an hour here. I'm gonna throw Burns and Usman to you, and then we'll try to go into these main events for these other cards. So what do you think here, Burns and Usman?
I'll keep it quick and short. You know what I'm saying? Usman is a good fighter. He's, the greatest thing that I've seen with him while looking him up was the current fight streak he's on, man. He's another one that, like Volkanovski, he's on a long fight streak. Dude, he's on a 17-win fight streak. I think the last time he lost was like in 2013 to Jose Caceres. You know what I'm saying? But like many of these guys, and like Jose Aldo, well, Jose Aldo has none. Kamaru Usman only has one submission win. Let's just put that out there. I'm putting out a little stat for you. And knockout wins are, I think he has 8, pretty much. And the rest are pretty much by all decision. UA or split or whatever the case may be. So with all that being said, this fight, if Kamaru Usman doesn't fight it perfect and doesn't stick to his game plan and doesn't try to get it on the cards, he's not going to win this fight. He's going to try to, because going up against a guy like Gilbert Burns, who's, in my opinion, more dynamic than Usman, isn't as stiff as Usman when it comes to his striking. And in my opinion, I know Usman is powerful, but, in this case, the Brazilian is the more powerful guy here. And there's a reason why, like I texted you, I think yesterday, Usman went up to Denver to train. Right. He needs that. He needs that, that extra pace, and he needs that extra work because he knows that Gilbert is going to bring the pace. Gilbert is not only, in my opinion, the better striker, he's also the better grappler on the ground. Because where Usman is a good wrestler, cool. Give it to him. Marty from Nebraska. But at the end of the day, when you get to the ground, you're playing jiu-jitsu now. And Marty's not going to be able to hold down Gilbert and ground and pound like he does to a lot of guys. And I see it going, one or two ways. KO or sub. It's not going to the judges. Gilbert wins.
I think this is an interesting fight. I really don't have much of a lean right now. I just think that the odds should be a little bit closer. And, to that end, Gilbert was still
190. That's amazing.
And Gilbert went 5 rounds with Woodley, and was still, they both beat Woodley differently. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Usman was able to take Woodley down and kind of beat him. He didn't really want to strike with him.
Burns ground and pounded him just the same way. Like he pretty much Mayweathered him. He just won the fight. He did what he had to do to win the fight. And think about this. Gilbert had Woodley won in that first round. I don't know if you remember when he knocked him down and was pretty much almost came to a stoppage.
But that's my point. That's my point exactly. Usman didn't want to mess with Woodley striking. Mm-hmm. Burns went right after Woodley striking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So is Usman going to take Burns down and mess around with a high-level BJJ black belt on the ground? I think it's going to say striking. And if it says striking, don't get me wrong. Dan Hooker, got the best of Burns, but, Burns, Usman on the feet, it's a closer fight than I think people are giving this credit to. I think it's closer to, maybe minus 130 Usman. I'm a little surprised at the line, so I think it's dog or pass here for me. but I haven't put a bet in, so I'm not promoting a bet or anything. I'm just saying I'm leaning Burns here just because of the odds and where I think the line should be.
I mean, honestly, no, I totally agree with you because, to be completely honest, Usman surprised me, right? Before I watched any video, I just went off, things that I've watched in the past, and I really thought Usman wasn't a good striker like that. Like I was like in my head, I was like, yeah, he does the regular wrestler shit, gets you to the ground and pound, and just tries to dominate the entire fight and win on the scorecards. I mean, with a guy with 17 wins, that's literally what all he's been doing is just winning, and doing it the right way. But watching the video, the dude can strike, and he really lays it on people. He has some heavy hands, but if you look at both of them stylistically, Gilbert is more fluid, and I feel like in that striking department, exactly like you said, the reason why Usman didn't want to go up against Tyron Woodley is because Usman is stiff, man. Usman can get caught by that one punch that Tyron can throw. Like he can get left out there and get blasted by that one shot. Gilbert is too fluid and moves way too much to get caught by some one punch power by Tyron. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, did you not see the takedown? He literally blasted him across the ring for like 3 feet. And honestly, I see the same thing happening against Usman. They're gonna try to stand and bang. They will, and then eventually, Gilbert will take him down, beat on him, and do one or two things. It'll be stopped, or he'll sub him. Rear naked choke if you want to do a prop for anybody.
And the best part is that Gilbert is constantly in grappling matches, right? Polaris, underground, submission underground.
He just lost to Craig Jones by heel hook. If Usman wants to try to work on a move, heel hook. You're, but
wants to work on a move over in Denver. All right, Drew. I don't want to go too much longer with this, but the next fight, card. I should say the next card, July 15th. Let's talk about it real quick. Calvin Kattar and Dan Ige. You like anybody here?
Ige.
Oh, you like Ige, huh?
Yeah, I like Ige. The number is great. The plus 235 is great, but I'm going with his momentum. Dan Ige right now looks really good. And not only that, he's in a really good camp, and I feel like with the influence that he has from his compatriots from Russia, it's really paid benefits to his game. Like in his last fight came out, he looked, really, really good, really, really sharp. A lot of people really like, if you were picking him to win against Edson Barbosa, you were pretty much ballsy, I guess, because there was no shot or even reality that you thought he was even going to pull out a win in that fight. And he looked really, really sharp. He looked good. So, in my opinion, Calvin Kattar, he's cool. I haven't really watched much about him, but I'm just going to keep riding the wave of Dan Ige, and that's what I like.
Yeah, I'm definitely not messing around with this fight for two reasons. Number one, I like Kattar a lot. And number two, Ige, I never get his fights right. And unfortunately, he's been winning. So you could tell right then, I just told you, I've lost a lot of fights on Dan Ige.
Yeah, you have.
This is a nice little card, though. We got Frankie Edgar, Jersey's own Frankie Edgar here. Don't like him in this matchup, but
God, I hope he wins.
No, this fight right here too, Carlos Esparza and Mariana Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez is pretty good. I like Marina Rodriguez a lot.
Yeah.
So let's get into this next card here, Drew. Any strong takes on Figueiredo and Benavidez too? Again, Benavidez wanted his title. He got his shot. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. It was, and again, the only reason that maybe they had a rematch clause. I'm not sure about that. But Figueiredo didn't make weight, so technically he doesn't have the belt. But he did beat Benavidez in that first fight. So now we're getting the second go around here. Who do you like, Figueiredo and Benavidez?
I mean, I don't know. I think I remember watching this fight. It was one of those like cards in the middle of all like big cards and stuff like that. But Benavidez, I mean, he's the vet, right? He's the guy. He's the guy who's been doing it for longer, who seemed sharper, I guess, and just got caught out on a bad night. So, in my opinion, lucky shot for Benavidez that the guy didn't make weight and he didn't get his belt taken. So that's not really something I feel like he's even worried about right now, because now it's just about proving himself and making sure that he can capitalize. You know what I'm saying? If he loses the belt, whatever, he kind of already lost it in a sense. So I don't think that's even something he's worried about. But yeah, if I'm not, this card's kind of weird. So like if I pick anything on this card, it'll be just for shits and giggles. It won't be anything that I'm like, really promoting or telling anybody to go after with their money.
Yeah, overall, I think this is the weakest card over on Fight Island. Again, just my opinion, but I do like the Gastelum Hermanson fight. I think that's that's going to be a pretty good fight. Hopefully, there's a little bit more, fight in Gastelum than there was against Darren Till. Because again, watching that fight, like those guys didn't even throw enough punches to really whet my appetite. To be honest with you, but
Yeah, I mean that's funny. That's the fight I was literally just watching at the beginning of the cast. I mean, the first round was hard to watch, and if the rest of the fight was like that, I mean, I guess the only reason they both fought like that is because they respected each other's power. But if you're talking about this card, the only reason I would kind of watch it, I guess, would be because of Kelvin. Because even Benavidez, it's almost like you already know what's gonna happen in that fight. You already saw it once. Kelvin, you kind of just want to see him come back and throw some blows,
yeah, just to finish off the thoughts on Figueiredo, I think is just stronger in the clinch.
Yeah.
If you like BJJ and you like rolling around, that fight started off with an armbar attempt by Figueiredo on Benavidez. He got out of that. There was some good scrambles early, and then it became a striking fight.
Mm-hmm.
Figueiredo was just bigger than Benavidez, much bigger. I was surprised by the size difference, to be honest with you. I didn't remember it to be that substantial. And then again, the finishing when Benavidez got finished, it looked like Benavidez kept rushing in, and Figueiredo at one point tried to catch him with an elbow, but it looked like Benavidez hit Figueiredo's chin, and that's what opened up the cut on his head. And you can tell that he must have really hit that chin hard, because you could tell that he was off for a second. Figueiredo knew he was off too, and then that's when he threw, I think it was the overhand right that wound up putting Benavidez down. But I'm pretty sure it was, he ran in, he tried to get in the pocket and ran into his chin. He kept darting into the pocket. Again, Benavidez was outstriking him on volume. Figueiredo maybe you could say hurt him a little bit more, knocked Benavidez back, but I think it's going to be a good fight. No bets for me. I don't love the line, but I think it's going to be a good fight. So Drew, the last one here, we kind of talked about Till a second ago. Whitaker's return to the ring against Till. What do you think about this one, bro? I'll let you lead this one off. What do you think here?
Now, this fight, it's hard to call, right? Because it's another fight between fighters who I guess haven't been in the ring for a while. And the last time we saw, I guess, Darren Till, I was watching him fight Kelvin Gastelum here just a second ago. I mean, it wasn't really an exciting showing from him. And, Whitaker's always exciting. I mean, they call him the Reaper for a reason. This one, if they both bring it, which is what I'm hoping, following Till recently on his social media and his training and everything like that, there should be fireworks, man. Darren Till, what's that line look like right now? I think you have it up there.
Yeah, let me pull this.
Darren Till, yeah, exactly. That's really what I would assume it would be. Whitaker would probably be a slight favorite, and that's only because of the striking department. And it's weird to say that because Darren Till is the bigger fighter, and probably is definitely going to have the reach advantage here. But Rob, in my opinion, has the power on his side, and also the ability to hopefully, if he can, keep the pressure up and keep the pace up on Till. Because Till, one thing I've noticed from him, anytime he goes up against a power fighter or someone who has a good overhand right, or someone who's has that one shot power, he tends to fight a lot more tentative, and tries to play more defensive. And against a guy like Rob, if he tries to do that, he's just gonna feel a lot of pressure, and it's not gonna be a good night for him. it's going to be exciting. I mean, I hope it's an exciting fight. I hope they don't just get all clinched up all night, like he did against Kelvin. But yeah, if I'm going to lean anywhere, I'd probably be leaning towards Robbie here.
Yeah, and you know what, Rob here, I feel bad for him, man. With the injuries that he's had and the fights he's had to pull out of, and
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
sports hernia and stuff like that. Like, it's just crazy stuff. It's not even fight injuries. Some of these injuries, you know what I mean? It's
like stress.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's weird kind of injuries to me. I was very high on Darren Till. If you go back in the archives, check a couple of the podcasts out. But I was very high on Darren Till. So I feel like he's let me down, and I feel like I'm off the train at this point. I like Till. I just don't feel like I feel like his path to victory is he doesn't overwhelm people, and I feel like he could overwhelm people. So his normal path to victory to me is to be patient and then overwhelm when you pick your spots. I feel like he just doesn't do it. He's not able to do it to win fights. And I also think that the Tyron Woodley loss was just a bad loss.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird you say that, right? Because I was watching a highlight earlier on Darren Till, and if you watch his earlier fights, that's all he was doing, man. He would pick his shots, and then the minute he stunned you, it was like, blood in the water, and right. you were done for. You're gonna catch elbows, you're gonna catch knees, you're gonna catch everything, and then it was right up against that, up until he fought Woodley, where he got blasted. That every fight after that, he fights more with a caution and a lot less reckless abandonment. And I think partly is maybe because, I don't know if it was in his team or his coach told him to, try to calm the fuck down and win more and throw less caution into the win. But I don't know, man. Till has definitely been different since fighting Woodley. And against a guy like Robbie, who I feel at this point is just hungry just to fight, I don't think it's going to serve him well if he brings that same attitude.
All right, so that's going to finish us off here. One of the things I'm going to try to do for this next fight card is brews and bets. I'm going to try to bring back brews and bets with CG and Ty. We'll see if they're able to come on. I'm looking to do it next Monday. And then again, get on Jiu-Jitsu Drew. Get on his Twitter feed. My personal Twitter account is suspended right now, so feel free to go on.
I've noticed that you're in jail.
Yeah, and feel free to go on Jersey Boys MMA Media. I'm hoping to get back on at some point, or at Brews and Bets is the two accounts that I have control over. Feel free to follow us there. Go to the website, YouTube channel. You got all our social media tags on the bottom. The website has all the links to the tags. So thanks for watching, and Drew, good luck, brother.
Thanks, guys. And remember, Uncle Dana doesn't love